May is here, and with it comes our new release. Today we're going to be tackling the most popular and one of the most important questions I get: how do I improve at Ultimate? We're going to be breaking down that question from a broad variety of perspectives so that every player, coach at any level can benefit from this video. Step 1, we need to establish goals. A clear vision of where you want to go is essential to reach that destination. By setting clear, realistic goals, you're able to set and track your progress on where you are and where you want to go. Once you have your clear and concise goals, it's time to move to step 2 and to evaluate where you're at today. Step 2, assessing where you're at. With this quarantine situation impacting the entire world, now is a great time to step back and evaluate where you are as a player or a coach. As a player, you might ask yourself, what skill sets do I have currently? What skill sets do I want to acquire? And where you're at with your athletic potential and your athletic ceiling. It's important to not only work on your weaknesses, but also to continue to work on your strengths. Many teams on almost any level are looking for specialists who can really excel in one area of Ultimate. That being said, it's really beneficial to balance a skill set and to be able to do everything. A great offensive player who can play defense on the turn is going to have a step up from a great offensive talent that's not as hardworking or willing to grind on defense. My recommendation to most players, especially young aspiring players, is to really focus on playing great defense and playing selfless offense, lowering your turnovers, keeping the disc moving. And while it might not speak too loudly about the type of offensive player you are, coaches, captains, and teammates will pick up on the importance of your offense. I recommend getting a pen and paper and writing 3 things that you're good at in Ultimate and 3 things that you want to improve on. Take a look at that paper every week throughout the year to see if you're improving in those areas. Step 3 is to help you if you ever hit a wall in Ultimate. There are times in a career where you might feel like you're not improving as fast as you want. This plateau can cause frustrations, which leads to not wanting and enjoying the sport. Don't be too harsh on yourself. It's an acceptable thing and it's bound to happen to everyone. If you do find yourself hitting a wall, if you're not getting any faster, then you can refocus that area to maybe throwing or cutting. Ultimate has so many different skill sets that are required to be an elite player that you can always find something. When you start, you're going to be acquiring skills so fast and so readily that by the time you start to kind of saturate yourself and hit that point where it gets tougher and more difficult to improve, that's when the creativity side of things is going to hit, and you have to start to challenge yourself mentally on how you can improve in other ways. Step 4, executing the plan. Improving as a player really is beneficial when you're playing around great players. When I wanted to try out for an Ultimate team, I went to the best team around. It was a 2-hour drive. It was to Boston, but it was worth it because those were some of the best players in the country at the time. There's a sweet spot in playing with a group of players that can bring the best out in you. For example, if the group is too good, then you might have trouble getting the disc, throwing, and being part of the action. But if the group isn't good enough, then you're going to find yourself maybe making some mistakes, some careless mistakes here and there. You really want to surround yourself with a group of players that's a little bit better than you. That way, they're going to bring you up and you're going to have to be sharp every time you step out on that field. Anyone who is interested in trying out for a top team coming up, feel free to check out Excel's video on how to try out. It's got some great tips and tricks to help really get you ready to go. Step 5, the journey. The most important part about writing those goals down and executing everything is to enjoy the journey throughout. It is so much harder, and I know this firsthand, to go out and train and run on the track and throw when your heart's not in it. So find that enjoyment, find what makes you want to go out and practice and study these videos, and everything else will come naturally. A lot of these same principles and applications can be applied to coaches as well. The challenge for coaches is that they have to figure out when they themselves are plateauing and their team. It is a tough job, but it's one of the best parts of coaching, is to bring individual skills, team chemistry, and everything together to grow the team while continuing to lead as a coach. As a coach for American University for the past 5 years, it's really helped me after each season to kind of go through and see what worked and what didn't, so we could take some of that information for the next season. Just as the player keeps track of their progress, it's important as a coach to do the same. Now everyone has some homework. It's time to take a few minutes to write down some of these clear goals that you have on where you want your ultimate journey to go. After you have those goals on paper, take an assessment of where you're at as a player or a coach, what skills you currently have, and what skills you want to acquire next. It really helps if you do this activity with a group of teammates or just 1 or 2 close friends. This social accountability will make sure you're all training the way you should be. Once you have all that written down, it's time to execute that framework. We look forward to providing you the content and materials you need along your way.